What's up, everybody? Welcome back to FNG Academy. Buck here, former Green Beret, here to help you guys get selected. Alright guys, you asked for it, so here it is. In this video, we're going to talk about my Robin Sage experience. But do me a favor before we do, hit that like button. Let's try to get 500 likes on this video. Every time I ask that, you guys hit it, and I really appreciate it. And hit that subscribe button. I love how this channel is growing, and I love your guys' feedback. It's so positive. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. All right, so my Robin Sage experience, basically it was awesome, dude. I loved Robin Sage. It's, like I said, it's a culminating exercise for the end of the Q course. So it's like the last final event. And what I like about it the most is because you do all these schools individually, right? So like small unit tactics, MOS phase, SEER school. And you're learning all these things throughout the Q course, but you're doing it in chunks. And then finally in Robin Sage is the chance for you to put all that stuff together, and it just like lifts the blinders off you, and you start to understand what the mission set of special operations really is and how to put that into action. And I think one of the best things that I learned from Robin Sage is to start making decisions thinking about the second and third order of effects. So a lot of times before that and before all this training, you think, well, this seems like the best thing to do, so I'm going to do that. But we forget each decision you make will have a chain of events that may be okay, but they may not be. So something that appears to be a good decision on the surface could really have lasting effects on the entire operational environment that will negatively impact your mission. And that's the kind of mindset that you need to start adapting. And that's what I started to learn how to do in Robin Sage. And that's why I appreciated that training so much. So one of the experiences I had was I was made the acting team sergeant while I was there, which obviously was extremely stressful when I first got there and when I first got that position. But I adapted to the role really well, and I started to like it because instead of like doing what I thought the cadre wanted to see me do, I just focused on what my team needed to accomplish our missions and make it happen. So one curveball they threw at me was we had to plan an operation and go and conduct the operation. Well, with the amount of guys that I had to do that operation, that would have been the easiest thing we could have done. Everyone had their piece of the pie for planning. We would have planned it, knocked it out, got it done, easy day. But they tried to throw a curveball at us, and they started pulling guys out from the planning process. So they essentially pulled us down to a manning level that was just insufficient to accomplish our mission, and they knew that. But what are you going to do? You got to roll with the punches, and you got to make it work. So we did. The plan was briefed. It was a terrible setup. It was a terrible brief. It went horribly, basically. But I knew that despite having cadre watching, I needed to have my guys understand the plan. So in the pouring rain, we all want to be done with this. We're all fucking miserable. Instead of just moving on and accepting that we just had a bad briefing, I said, fuck it. We're going to redo this whole thing right here. We're not leaving until everyone understands the plan. Because at the end of the day, you're going to have boots on ground. And if they don't understand the plan, it's going to be a shit show. So if you get through a planning operation and you know that briefbacks weren't going well, people don't really understand what's happening, you're setting yourself up for failure, and you're kicking that can down the road. And when it finally does come to a head on the mission site, it's going to be catastrophic, and you don't want that. So I said, fuck it. We redid everything and briefbacked from every single person what their position was. Luckily, there wasn't that many of us, so it didn't take long. But the mission itself ended up going really, really well. Because instead of focusing on what you think cadre want to see you do and hitting the whole Ranger handbook exactly the way you're supposed to, we just said, screw it. Let's go back to the basics and understand what we're supposed to do once we get on the X, and we'll take it from there. And it worked out great. So other than that, it's like Robin Sage is just a cool experience because you have guerrilla forces, right? And the guerrillas, your counterparts, are people that are just starting the Q course. I had to do it. We all had to do it. But then we get to come full circle and come back as, future graduates that are about to graduate. And that is a really cool thing because you get to look right in the eyes of somebody and see that that's where you stood, 2 years ago or, a year and a half ago, wherever. And it's just a really humbling, cool experience. And you know that those guys are looking up to you the same way that you looked up to the guys when you were there. And it just feels good to just come full circle and know that they are putting that trust in you, and to just make friends with those guys, treat them really well, and know that they're going to be taking your place in a couple years. So that was my experience with Rob and Sage. Like I said, it's an amazing, amazing experience. And it's really humbling, man. It's like the tip of the spear, the peak of training environment before you're going on to do real shit. From there, I went to language school, and then I went to free fall school. So I'll tell you guys more about free fall at some point. But you asked for my experience in Rob and Sage, and I just want to give it to you. So Rob and Sage is just an awesome, fun-ass time hanging out in the woods with your boys. I was blessed to have a really good team. So everything went smooth all the time, and even when it didn't, it was all part of the plan. So we just worked through it, pushed on, and had a blast. If you start butting heads with the guys that you're working with, Rob and Sage can be a nightmare for you, and you're going to have a hard time, and it'll probably kick you in the nuts pretty good. All right, guys, I hope you liked that video. Thanks again for everything you guys have been doing for this channel with the likes and the comments. There's so much positivity coming from the people that watch this channel. I can't thank you enough. I really, really appreciate the support that I get from you guys. You know, a lot of you guys thank me. That means the world to me. I try to answer every question on Instagram, and as many as I can on YouTube. So really appreciate you guys. See you next time.
And I can't see it clearly, but it's obvious. I know